And hello there everyone, welcome back. I am BogMod, playing The Legend of Heroes Trail of Cold Steel 2. We just got our ass kicked by Rufus, who's using his special I'm an NPC.
Well, I won't deny that was an entertaining diversion.
I get to cheat.
But you do well to intensify your training regimen if you hope to best me.
How is he so strong?
Cheating. Game cheating.
You didn't stand a chance.
He might even be stronger than Sarah.
Are you guys okay?
Hey, you really think you've got time to be worrying about them?
Yes.
You ain't getting out of this one, Reen.
Dun dun dun.
All right, bring it on! It's time to settle this, Crow!
You know, Rena's all acting. They were all acting like, oh, we miss
It'll
Crow.
be a tough one. Be careful.
But now that we got him back, now that he's here, he's not exactly trying to be friends with him. Alright, what do we got? Let's stab him in the body.
Think you can handle this?
Let's go with your head. Oh, alright.
Eat this!
Criminal edge.
Gotcha! Gotcha!
He's kicking my butt.
This is bad.
Gotcha!
Haha! Yeah, I cannot win this one. Alright. Archdish!
Think you can handle this?
Nope. No, don't.
This is bad.
You're wasting your time! Eat this!
Well,
Hang in there.
and that's how the game ended. Wait for the third game to see the epic conclusions.
Settled enough for you?
You didn't even bother to use that trump card of yours.
That's true. How come?
He wasn't even trying last time, then was he?
Nope, apparently not.
Come on. With the way you are now, I don't even need to try. I'll always win. And that, Reen, perfectly illustrates just how massive the gulf between us is. Maybe you think you've had it tough up till now, but you're gonna need to go through a hell of a lot more if you want to even the odds.
Well, it's a civil war. Luckily, those can drag on. That doesn't sound so lucky, actually.
I see the battle here has come to an end.
Oh, hey Vita.
I can't help but feel a little bummed that everything went exactly as I thought it would.
I have a feeling that's how things go for Ouroboros all the time.
Still, it just goes to show how much faith I have in your skills, my sweet Azure Chevalier.
Funny, I don't recall ever becoming yours. How's everything up top?
I think it's only a matter of time before the battle is decided. But we've caused enough trouble for the people of Ymir already. It's about time we brought this to a close. Finestrum Phantasma.
Oh, she's doing witchcraft.
My apologies for not coming down to speak with you in person, ladies and gentlemen of Thor's Military Academy.
Duke Cayenne Pepper.
You know who I am, of course, but I am Duke Cayenne, ruler of the Lemaire province and supreme leader of the Noble Alliance.
Duke Cayenne?
Do you think he's going to try to set himself up as the new emperor? I wouldn't put it past him.
So even the big guy himself is here.
I must say, what a curious group we have here. I heard as much, but allow me to extend my most heartfelt congratulations. My expectations have thoroughly been exceeded. When I saw young Eustace and Laura in Legram earlier this year, I could never have imagined this is how we would next meet.
Alright, you know what? I will grant him that one. I imagine when they saw him in Legram, they did not expect to see him in a giant airship floating over the Emir.
Oh, I'm sure your parents must have warned you against wandering off with such disreputable individuals on a number of occasions. But I suppose every child thinks that they alone know what is best for themselves. Duke Alberea was simply livid about what happened. But it can't hurt to learn more about the outside world,
He's smug.
Every word that leaves his mouth is condescending.
I will side with you on this one, Macius.
Did you come all the way here just to tell us that?
Don't be silly, child. Reen Schwarzer. I had this meeting arranged because I wanted to speak with you. Perhaps the method was a touch too garish for something so simple, but do forgive me for not formally requesting an audience.
With me?
With you. Allow me to get right to the point.
He's gonna make an offer.
I wish to invite you, Ashen Chevalier, aboard our flagship.
An offer you can't refuse.
Wait, why?
I've heard all about your magnificent exploits across the land, and so I thought it would be nice to sit down and have a long, pleasant chat with you about the past, the present, as well as your future.
Are you suggesting?
You want Reen to join the Noble Alliance?
Of course.
Should you accept my invitation, we will withdraw peacefully from Ymir. Furthermore, I give you my personal assurance that we will leave this village alone for the duration of this war.
It's a pretty good piece of blackmail.
A fine proposition, is it not? Are we interested?
With the airship there right now, he could raise that place to the ground in a matter of moments.
Very well. Allow me to accept your invitation.
Don't be an idiot.
They have no choice. You've been completely outmaneuvered.
This is clearly a trap. They wouldn't come all the way out here and take you into their flagship if you weren't.
Yes. It's not a trap, it's an attack, and they've succeeded.
I appreciate your concern. But trap or not, this might be a good chance for us, too. I think I'd regret it if I let it pass.
Yeah, it's not a trap. It's them attacking you with overwhelming force and winning.
Balamar, transport Celine back outside.
Are you certain?
Now hold it right there.
Don't worry about me. The odds were against all of us getting back together, but we did it. And I'm sure we can do it again, too. So just wait with Emma for now. I'll be back before you know it. Balamar, if you would.
Very well.
Oh, wait!
I can see why he did that.
It seems the time has come for us to part ways once again. But remember this. You're an Alberea. There is power and dignity in that name, to whatever end you would use it. I want you to prove that the convictions you cling to are worthy of your loyalty. Not for my benefit, but for yours.
Wait!
Lord Rufus!
Well met, Lord Schwarzer. It's a pleasure to see you again. Allow me to extend my apologies for the harm my father visited upon this town and its people.
Never mind that. What do you intend to do with my son?
Oh yeah, that part.
And what is a promising young man like yourself?
We're simply going to borrow young Reen for a short while. There's nothing to worry about. I'm a busy man these days, though, so for now, I bid you adieu.
We all finally got back together, too. Why?
Sorry. but I'll be back, I promise. So stay safe.
Reen!
Reen! Ah, good. Laura had the most epic Reen. 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 Act 1, Ashen Chronicles. And... yeah, more bonding. Ooh, level 4. Art support cover. Level 5, yeah, Rush 2. Nice. Anger, cover. Curie auto charge. Anger cover. Anger cover. Cheer cover. Cover. Let's keep this party going. I wonder how well that would face that ship would do against what's its Oliver's ship, the Courageous. Or what is it? Is it the Glorious? That's what Ouroboros uses.
So this is what Duke Cayenne looks like from up close.
What a pompous pompous ass.
It's hard to believe that I've ended up in the same room as the leader of the Noble Alliance.
Is it? You've met the Emperor. You've hung out with the Princess. And Heir. And been flirted at by the bastard prince.
Although, I guess we did meet back in Legram before the war broke out.
Reen Schwarzer. Truth be told, we don't want this war to drag on any more than you do.
Really?
I can believe that. You'd much rather kind of settle down to just being the boss of everything.
We only acted as we did due in part to our dearly departed Chancellor's behavior being far too unreasonable to justify turning a blind eye. He garnered the trust of His Majesty, and in turn misused that trust. He flagrantly disregarded this nation's beloved culture and traditions, treating Erebonia as if it were his own personal property.
When it's your personal property.
Surely you too noticed this.
Well, I can't say I disagree. We did hear story after story during our field studies about how aggressive his policies were.
It's because he's evil, but dead.
About the way he didn't care how many enemies he made as a result, creating terrorist groups like the Imperial Liberation Front.
But as I said, the cause of our nation's ills is now gone. Now, all that remains is to turn back the hands of time just a touch, and the good old days of the Empire will be upon us once more. The key to this bright future lies in putting aside our differences and joining hands.
I wonder
Am I wrong?
I wonder if this game is going to give you the option to actually accept his offer or not, and then it'll be like one of those fake endings you can get by picking the wrong choice.
I'm afraid that yes, you are.
Aww.
Do you honestly believe that people can so easily put aside their differences after all the Alliance has done? You occupied Heimdall and effectively took every one of its citizens hostage, imprisoned the Imperial family. And let's not forget how you're now in league with the enemy nation responsible for the destruction of Gorelia Fortress. After all that, the Imperial army would never bow their heads to the likes of you, even if the rest of the population did.
That in league with is a bit strong.
My word, I'm afraid there's been a terrible misunderstanding. The Imperial family is simply under our loving protection. They certainly haven't been imprisoned.
Don't pretend.
But that does bring me to exactly why I want you to help us.
It does?
The Azure Knight is already on our side. But if we had your Ashen Knight as well, that would mean we'd have two of the great knights of Erebonian legend to put into play. Couple them with our Panzer Soldats, and the Imperial Army's armored divisions would cower before us. You may not find us winning the war ideal, but this union benefits everyone more than carrying on until our inevitable victory,
I don't think it's that simple.
I beg to differ. The presence of Soldats units on a battlefield makes a tremendous difference. What they may lack in firepower and armor compared to tanks, they make up for in mobility and versatility. But more important than even those factors is the psychological impact they have on our opponents.
Well...
We're only human. As such, we are as captivated as we are terrified of giant beings bearing human form. And if that holds true even for mass-produced soldats made with modern technology, it will be all the more true for the divine knights of legend you and Crow possess.
Can't argue with that logic.
I will say it once more. Gileath Osborne is dead. And with his death, all that's left to be done is end this ridiculous war and return order to the Empire. Only then will everything be as it should. That includes both your pleasant academy life and the peaceful days of darling Elise and her friend the princess.
Dun dun dun! Now he plays the real blackmail card.
Are you trying to...
Oh, duh!
Whatever you ultimately decide, their safety is guaranteed.
Oh, Rufus.
I would ask that you promise him this, if nothing else, Your Grace.
But of course, I'm not a monster.
Rufus.
We may stand on opposite sides of this conflict, but I still sit on Thor's board of directors. And in that capacity, I suggest you consider carefully the choice before you. After all, every soldier must decide for himself whether a cause is worth fighting, perhaps even dying for. I look forward to hearing your answer.
Now back to your cell. Your guest room cell with food and refreshments. Ooh. Will there be a fine wine to go with some cheese, maybe? A souffle? A pentagruel? The next day. Monday. I hate Mondays. Typical Monday. Board an enemy flagship. Fly through the skies. Sign the fate of a war. Ah, typical. Well, they, certainly did not skip on, the interior decorating. This is fancy. Well, then again, I was going to say this is fancier than what, Ouroboros had. But then I remember, that giant chamber with a massive pipe organ.
All that's left to be done is end this ridiculous war and return order to the Empire. Only then will everything be as it should. That includes both your pleasant academy life and the peaceful days of darling Elise and her friend the princess.
I suggest you consider carefully the choice before you. After all, every soldier must decide for himself whether a cause is worth fighting, perhaps even dying for.
There's a weird mix where they talk about, some people are like, like Rufus right here, talking about Reen, giving them like a soldier must make these choices. At the same time, like, but we're students.
I look forward to hearing your answer.
It's hard to argue that this war began because the noble faction went too far.
Wait. Is that what he means to say?
But the longer it goes on, the more people are going to suffer.
Okay, no, that's right. They definitely started this war.
Okay with that? If I join them, I could reduce the number of victims, be friends with Crow again, free Elise and Princess Alphen. No, this isn't that simple. Think, Reen, think. I was able to reunite with the others, but Elise and Princess Alphen are still in the Alliance's custody. What's the best thing I can do?
Well, depends who you ask.
This isn't just about me. What do all of us want to do?
Keep racking your brain like that and smoke will start coming out of your ears.
Hello, traitor!
What do you want?
Hey now, no need to give me that look.
I think it's well deserved.
I figured I was gonna find you busy thinking everything over like your life depended on it.
Well, maybe not his life. But don't pretend like thousands, millions of lives do hinge on his decision.
And what do you know? I was right.
How about you mind your own damn business?
Oh, see? Thank you, Reen. I was getting a little concerned you guys were being too soft on Crow.
Don't you have better things to do with your time?
Though, then again, he was just like, I could be friends with Crow again. So, you're being a little inconsistent here, Reen.
I figured the glorious Azure Chevalier would be far too busy with the war to be hanging out around here.
It's tough being popular. If you joined us, I could get away with doing half the work I am now. So come on, stop freaking out about it so much and make a choice.
This isn't something I can just decide by flipping a coin, Crow. And besides, it'd probably be an easier choice if not for a certain someone. What's that in your hand, anyway?
Grub, of course. Kinda early, but I brought you your lunch. Mind if I join you?
Say yes, Reen. Say yes. Burgers. Square burgers. Weird.
Hamburgers, fries, and onion rings, huh?
And a green
I was
drink?
expecting something more fancy like I had last night.
Oh, that kind of food more your thing? Okay then, give me a minute while I go ask the chef to whip something up.
No, this is fine. The burger looks delicious.
Cool. All right, dig in.
This tastes kind of different from a normal burger.
Because it's poisoned!
Oh, no wonder. It's got whitefish in it.
Yeah, they're called fish burgers. Pretty good, right?
And that's why hamburgers have ham in them.
Yeah, the tartar sauce makes for an unusual extra flavoring too. Oh. This tastes amazing. I like this way more than the food I had last night, to be honest.
Well, glad to hear. Guess it was worth putting my cooking skills to the test after all.
Wait, you made this?
Was my first time cooking in a while, too. Sharon could probably do better, though. But I wanted to give it a shot anyway. This stuff was like soul food back in Jirai, where I grew up.
Oh.
To think, all the time we spent searching for the leader of the Imperial Liberation Front, and he was right under our noses. Crow Armbrust from the Jirai SEZ.
Oh, yeah. Vita was using some weird thing of hers to let you see what was going on, wasn't she?
Yeah, magic.
So I guess you saw what happened there.
Yeah. Jirai was that special economic zone in the northwest you guys went to during our August field study, too.
Let's see. Then SEZ. Direct control of the Imperial government, not a noble. Annexed 8 years ago. Resisted on nice and neat without much opposition. It's prospering as a special economic zone on the coast. Seemed like a pretty lively place.
So you ended up going back to your old hometown then?
Yeah, by pure coincidence. It's changed a lot since I was last there, so it was kind of surreal being back again. But it was nostalgic in its own way, too.
It's been bugging me for a long time now. What could have made you want to join a group of terrorists like the Imperial Liberation Front?
Or possibly found them.
What was it that made you hate Chancellor Osborne that much? Enough to take his life?
Gasp! How dare you ask that completely understandable question?
Tell me, Crow, please. I want to know what it was that made you who you are now. What kind of place Jirai was, how you lived there, and what you were doing before you entered the academy and met Toa, Angelica, and George.
Where's the fun in prying into a guy's past? Save all that talk for your number one in class. Who's the lucky girl anyway? Elisa? Laura? Emma? Fee? And don't tell me it's Milliam, because, you know, it...
What about Milliam?
I'm serious, Crow. I really want to know. Think of telling me your past as paying off the interest you owe in that 50 Mira.
Ah, yeah.
Because until I know, until we know, we won't be able to move forward.
You're really serious.
You should know Rena's always serious.
Crow?
My past really isn't that big of a deal, you know. It's got nothing on yours, that's for sure. If you find yourself thinking that's all when I'm done, well, I warned you. So, you really want to know?
Yeah. Nothing you say will change my mind. Please, tell me.
All right, you win. Like I said, it's just your run-of-the-mill sob story. Pick up any history textbook and you'll probably find a dozen others just like it. It's the kind of story that's so common no one bothers to remember it, like it never even happened. Back in those days, Jirai was known as Jirai City. It was a city-state off the coast of northwest Zemuria that prospered through maritime trade with West Erebonia, Northumbria, and Remiferia. It had a population of around 150,000 people, so it wasn't exactly a big place or anything. Because of that, the surrounding nations left it alone and let us live out our days in peace. We were pretty fortunate, all things considered. Until about 20 years ago. That was when the Northumbrian disaster struck, and much of the Principality of Northumbria was turned to salt.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
And as a result, trade on the northwest shore was reduced to virtually nothing. Day after day, Jirai's prosperity started to fade away. Still, it wasn't all bad. We had our fishing, our historic landmarks, our septium mines. We could make use of those to get trade going again, both to keep our state running and to help out Northumbria. In fact, the one who advocated that approach was the mayor, my grandfather. He was the last mayor Jirai City ever had. He was a stubborn old bastard, but he had this wry sense of humor.
Look at that
And he was
happy
well
young
loved
crow.
by everyone. I lost my mom and dad early, so he was also my only living relative. He taught me just about everything a guy could know. He was like a mom, dad, and your old master rolled into one, I guess. Anyway, fast forward to 10 years ago. Out of nowhere, we received this proposal from the Erebonian government. They said they wanted to extend a railway line from Heimdall all the way to Jirai. We relied on the sea for trade before, but there wasn't any reason to believe we couldn't benefit from being connected to Heimdall by rail.
Well, fair enough.
The proposal drew overwhelming support from the city's council, and as a result, my grandfather was forced to accept. Within a year, the city had all of its old life back and then some. The streets were more bustling than ever. But keep in mind, this was the result of huge amounts of imperial capital flowing into the city. Land and buildings we once treasured were bought up left and right. Everything became a target for investment. People only cared about making money. Something similar supposedly happened in Crossbell too, but unlike there, no opposition existed in Jirai. My grandfather sensed something was off, and he tried what he could to get the situation under control. Then one day, someone blew up the railway line leading to Jirai. Everyone demanded that it be repaired as quickly as possible. Everyone except the imperial government. Instead, they panned our national security arrangements for being insufficient and threatened to withdraw all Imperial capital.
Ooh.
The city was left in an uproar like we'd never seen. Shares plummeted, and with no one able to ascertain the culprit's identity, chaos reigned. That was when he showed up. Chancellor Gileath Osborne, in his third year as representative of the Imperial government, personally came to Jirai. We then received a second proposal.
The restoration of the railway and its future security will be seen to by the Imperial Army. In return for our continued assistance in safekeeping, Jirai will come under the wing of our glorious empire and attain even greater prosperity as a special economic zone.
The timing was too good to be true, really.
Yes, I can't help but suspect that he set up the entire thing.
Realizing this, my grandfather staunchly opposed the idea. He tried everything he could to convince the city's council to reject the offer. Unfortunately, once you taste the sweet fruit of prosperity, it's hard to want to go back. The council, made up of influential merchants and all their greed, jumped at the offer. And tempted by the elimination of customs, together with the tax breaks from being an SEZ, many of the citizens did too. And during all that, they'd conveniently found a suspect behind the railway incident. My grandfather.
Oh.
He loved Jirai more than anyone, and up till then, its people loved him too. And yet, virtually overnight, he found himself facing the wrath of both the city's council and the citizens alike.
A frame job?
Left with no choice, he resigned from his position as mayor, and Jirai formally became part of the empire. Both of these things happened on the same exact day. That was 8 years ago. Naturally, everyone knew my grandfather wasn't the one who did it. They knew who was really responsible. They just turned a blind eye to the truth. See? I warned you. Just your run-of-the-mill sob story.
I don't know what to say, Crow. What happened to him after that? Your grandfather.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
One day, he just up and died.
That's all? Like he wasn't killed or took his life?
Once he resigned, the whole affair with the railway getting blown up was all but forgotten. He lived comfortably in retirement for about half a year, fell ill, and that was that.
That's it?
He just lost the will to go on, I guess.
He was an old man. People die when they're old and sick.
Like I said, he was the only family I had. I mean, I had plenty of friends even then, but I chose to leave it all behind. I was 13 at the time.
He was probably in his 60s?
I wandered the land, doing whatever I had to get by. That was when I met old Cayenne, who happily indulged my hatred for the Chancellor. And with his financial backing, I went out with the goal to find others who were just like me.
I wonder how you met him in the first place.
That was the beginning of the Imperial Liberation Front. Gideon, Scarlet, and Vulcan were among those I recruited. I'd also met Vita then. I only knew her as the woman who would often come to see Cayenne.
And with the low cleavage.
She guided me to a place below the city of Ordis, and there slept the Azure Knight Ordine. One after another, I overcame the same trials you did with your friends, but alone. And once I'd proven myself worthy, Ordine accepted me as his awakener. That was 3 years ago. I was 16. My preparations complete, I concealed my background and enrolled in a military academy near the capital. Everything I did for the sole purpose of taking the Chancellor's head. Come on now, what's with the face?
It's a lot of hate for...
You look sadder about all this than I do.
Yeah, I guess.
I swear. I'm not trying to tell you the Chancellor was evil or anything.
Though he is.
What?
Still, there's no denying that he managed to outwit my grandfather. And he may have lost, but Pop's always loved a good gamble. It's thanks to him that I'm pretty good at chess, card games, that kind of stuff. I'd say it's fairly normal for a student to want to avenge his master's defeat, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
That's why you killed him.
At the end of the day, there's no denying this country has problems. and the Chancellor's methods were making them worse. I studied those problems, worked out how to use the situation to my advantage, and then won the game with an all-or-nothing gamble. But when you think of how peaceful Jirai is now, I'd say I've got a duty to clear up the mess left behind by my game too, which means ending this war and restoring peace. So it's only when that's done that my game is truly over.
Ah, the head patting!
Whatever your decision is to be influenced by my past, okay? Like Rufus said, you need to think long and hard about what it is you're fighting for. For you, more than anyone else.
Yeah, but Crow...
That's a terrible excuse to have sparked a civil war.
Anyway, I think I've stuck around here for long enough. You're gonna be treated as a visitor. Well, sort of. It's about time for the higher-ups to head back to Heimdall, so go ahead and pass the time however you want.
However I want? What else can I even do here?
Do Cabrera? Nope.
There'll be no guards outside your room, so if you want to try and escape, be my guest. Just keep in mind that some members of Ouroboros and Zephyr are on board too. Not to mention me, Scarlet, and Vulcan. So if you're up for a gamble of your own, get ready to take all of us on.
Sounds fun.
Oh yeah, one more thing. There's this real cute visitor in the guest of honors room on the second floor. I think she'd perk right up if she saw you, so why not go pay her a visit? Just don't go making your girl jealous, okay?
Well, it's either going to be Alfin or Elise. Possibly both.
I wonder who he means. He said she's in the guest of honors room. Well, I can't waste much time here. I told everyone I'd definitely come back soon. Right now, I need to gather as much information as I can. I can make my choice after that. At least then, it'll be an informed one.
Alright, well I know this episode went long. I felt that it was worthwhile. We definitely got to see a lot of fun, interesting things, and I didn't want to break up the flow of the scene too much. We got to learn a little more of Crow's backstory. I can't say I'm too impressed. I mean, yes, Osborn definitely set up the whole... I got very convinced that Osborn set up to put the economic screws to them, as it were. But that's it. That's... Like, his dad just kind of, well, I'm an old man. And then I got old and finished dying. That was really... Not super sold on that motivation there, Crow. Not super sold on it. With that all said and done, though, please share your own thoughts about Crow's backstory and the events so far. Like and subscribe if you adored, and if feeling generous, support me on Patreon or follow me on Twitter. I'll see everyone later.